everyone, I'm Michelle McLean. I'm your host for Tip Radio, Top Industry Professionals, where we showcase professionals with wonderful accolades from around the globe, and we share their stories of experience and success. Today, we have a very special guest, Mr. Joseph Babits. You have spent 4 decades of experience in the legal profession. You're a distinguished global award-winning attorney who was recently selected as Top Lawyer of the Year by the International Association of Top Professionals for your outstanding leadership, dedication, and commitment to the industry. You're currently serving with Shell USA Inc. as the lead US Securities Counsel. Everyone, please welcome Mr. Joseph Babits. It's so lovely to have you.
Thank you. It's quite an honor to win that award.
Well, you are just an amazing, accomplished human being. And I'm grateful. I was in Namibia when you were in Nashville for the award ceremony, the gala event for
Yes,
IAOTP.
it was very nice. It was wonderful meeting people. I hadn't been to any events yet, so that was the first one, and meeting all these accomplished people. But it was really cold, especially someone from Florida.
I know. So we're both based in Florida
Yeah.
and Namibia at the time, and I was in Nashville, but I saw you on the billboard, you,
Yes.
you accolade. Uh, I've done it a few times. It's, as you say, wonderful to meet your peers in the industry
Yes.
that have achieved so much.
Yeah.
And just tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get into the legal profession? And what inspired you to do that? Did you always want to be a lawyer?
I had, yeah, at least from grammar school. I think yeah, one of the things that I did when I was in grammar school, we went into New York City. I was living in New Jersey at the time, and we went into New York City on a field trip and we saw the play 1776. And that kind of got me started into researching the founding fathers, especially John Adams and others. And they're all, most of them lawyers, some of them businessmen. And so I always had that in the back of my mind, even when I went to university, that I would want to go to law school. And what I tell my daughter is your plans, you have plans, and there's a joke, how do you make God laugh? Make plans, because he has his own vision of where we're going to go. And so it was never a straight line. I went to university. I actually did internships at the time. One was with Senator Moynihan, and then I worked for the Federal Trade Commission for a number of years as a research assistant while I was in college. And then I got out of college and I went to MCI. And when I got to MCI, um, they had a program where they would pay me or pay for my MBA if I went at night. And so since I had all these student loans, I went and got my MBA at night at GW, figuring, okay, well, this is free money, so I might as well take it since I'm already paying my university loans. And at that point, I thought, well, I saw all the money they were making on Wall Street, and I said, well, maybe I'll go that route because I was a computer programmer at MCI, and then I went into I was getting my MBA in finance, and I graduated in 1988, right after the crash on Wall Street. So the Wall Street thing kind of went away, and then I said, "Huh, I guess I can go to law school now." And so I applied to law school, took the LSATs and all that, and there was George Mason was near where I was living. And MCI had said they would even pay for a law school. But law school was just too much work, and I wanted to do full time because I had done the work and go to night school for the MBA. And I said, nah, I think I'll do that one on my own. And I had enough money with loans and credit cards and savings to do it on my own. And I went and I really liked it, and I was able to go into an area that took advantage of my MBA and my other finance activities. So it wound up being a good combination. And then um, in my first summer, my second year summer, I did an internship with the Federal Trade Commission, and then I got hired at the SEC right out of law school. So it was kind of a combination of the MBA, NCA finance that kind of led me my direction here. Um, but it was all very interesting. And I now find I'm rambling. So maybe if you have any other questions or
No, no, you're not rambling at all. No, no, that's so fascinating. My next question was going to be, I mean, you were definitely so inspirational and courageous at that time in your life. You were taking on an MBA and doing your law degree.
yeah, let me talk about that. I was
Very inspirational because my next question was, what would your advice be for anybody entering this industry and career? Because it really is a pivotal career to have, um, for society. And then also maybe just mention your political aspirations as well.
sure. Well, one of the things that happened when I was the summer before I started law school, my cousin was getting married, and one of her uncles had come up to me there and, say, "Congratulations, are you going to law school?" He goes, "You're crazy with the risk." Because at that time, the economy wasn't great. I had a good job. I
As
had just
as what, Joseph? At
I was at MCI, and now I was a systems analyst in the finance area. So the money I was making was good, and I was just going to walk away. And then, people just looked at me, and it was funny because I never considered it a risk, and partly was because I knew my parents had my back. If something went wrong, I'd come home and I'd find another job, but I'd always had a place. And you know. I have a daughter now, so that's one thing I make sure she understands that, go out and take the risk because you always have a place to fall and we'll get you back on your feet. So, a lot of my success really comes from my parents and God because I never even considered it a risk to quit a job, not know where my next paycheck was going from, and just go to law school. But if I had advice to someone, is law school and being a lawyer is not being a TV lawyer. Like when I was in law school, there was LA Law, there was a few other law dramas.
makes it
And
look
I remember
so
talking to friends,
glamorous,
that's
doesn't it?
not really what this is like, is it? No. And but if you feel it, you should have a passion for it, right? Anyone who goes to law school that, it was just something to do, or good luck, because it's a lot of work.
Mm.
Um, and it's just the beginning.
And after hours, I mean, the
Yeah.
lawyers I know just work relentlessly.
Yes. The pay is good, but like I tell my daughter, nothing's for free. No one's giving it away, right? You just have to work it and work it. And if you like it, then it's not a big deal, right? If you like working, if you like what you're doing, you're not really working. Um, but that would be something I would tell people. And my daughter's actually in law school now too. And so she's gone through it. She didn't believe me, but um, but at some point she did send me, she did give me this birthday card. And I don't know if you can see it here.
Yes, yes. Dad?
Yeah, it says, "Dad, you were right about everything."
That's so sweet.
So I actually have taken a picture and it's on my phone so that when I'm with my wife, I was like, wait, oh yeah, why was I right about everything? But She's sensed it now, and I never ever asked, thought, told her to go into law or look at law. She just, it's children learn from seeing what we do, right?
You must have been an amazing, well, you are an amazing mentor, not only to her, but to so many others. And
Yeah, I mean,
a
it's,
person is not,
I can tell her where I went wrong. And so, that's experience.
yeah,
So, and wisdom comes from that. But we all make mistakes.
yeah.
And the key is to just brush yourself off, figure out where we go from now. And, the one thing I can tell people is very few careers are straight lines.
Mhm.
You're going to go up and you're going to go down. You're going to go up and you're going to go down. And hopefully your ups are always higher than your downs. But, that's life.
That is the beauty of life and what
Yeah.
we have to experience on this planet. But talking about that, we do have to deal with the challenges. So, what were some of the biggest obstacles you've ever experienced in your career? And just to, just touch on that political aspiration side of your
Yes.
your career.
Okay. Sure. Well, as one of the challenges, the I give advice. As a lawyer, mostly I do advice work, but I also do defense work. So if Shell gets challenged by the government, I step in and defend. But what you learn is when you give advice, you're giving them advice so that you can win when you have to defend, right? But a lot of times your advice isn't always appreciated. Um,
And maybe
when
you want to preempt something happening so that if
Yes, because most of the time you're advising them before they've done something and you're a cost, right? They look at, because I'm always saying, no, you can't do that. We can do this, but you can't do that. But Joe, there's more money here. I know there's more money there. That's why you can't do that. And that's always difficult questioning. Now, when you're defending, you're their best friend, right? You're management's best friend
Mhm.
because you're protecting them at this point. But when you're advising them, you're a cost center that they don't want to pay. So you're far from their best friend. You're their bill collector, the tax man, whatever you want to be viewed as, but you ain't positively. And it's trying to, in that environment, still get the message across that you have to comply, otherwise it's really bad on this side. And those have been some of the most challenging things. But yes, I didn't have enough challenge, so I decided to run for Congress this last time. Unfortunately, unsuccessful. I did learn a lot. Um, it wasn't the outcome I wanted, but will I do it again? I don't know. It was very hard doing it and having a job, full-time job, this campaigning and doing that. Um, but I'm planning on retiring this coming August, and I'll spend some time writing a book. And if the book is successful, we'll see what happens in the future. So I'm not saying never again, but it was eye-opening in a lot of different ways. And
I think I can speak for all our members of IOTP that
yeah,
it's really inspirational. And to have someone like you in office, wherever that may be, would be huge credibility. So I really wish you well.
thank you. Thank you. We'll
And
see.
yeah,
Only
well,
God knows. Whatever his plans are.
your determination, right?
Yeah. Yes. I'll
But
be ready.
talking
Um,
about your illustrious career. We have to mention you've been on magazine covers, you've been in interviews across the world, you have been on billboards with IOTP.
yeah.
Tell us about your highlights of your career. What would you say? I'm sure you have more than one.
Yeah, there's a lot of highlights when you're defending a company against the government and the government goes away or you win, um, those are always highlights. So at one point I was helping advise a challenge to an SEC rule, and The court vacated the rule, so we won. So that was clearly a highlight, especially since I told the people at the SEC before the litigation started that you can't do this, you have to do this, and they refused. And so that was a highlight to actually win and be able to tell some of my friends, I told you so. Um, but um, I had a lot of highlights in careers. I did rule writing at the SEC. Some rules are still there. Some I'm proud of. Some I'm just like, yeah, that rule probably isn't needed now. And I'm on the other side, so I see how things work differently. Um, but yeah, I mean,
Just for the layman, what is SEC?
oh, I'm sorry. It's the United States Securities and Exchange Commission.
Okay, okay, great. And
So
you've done also a lot of international work. So you've got,
yes, well, Shell's an international company, so and the SEC's rules cross borders. So I'm always advising and learning what the law is in the UK, what the law is in Holland. Um, so so I'm doing a lot of different things, which makes the job fun. And a few years back, I hired a woman, and I told her one thing. I said, "You'll never be bored." Because she worked at the SEC where I worked, and we all, when you're working in the government at the SEC, you're getting all the, high profile questions, the ones you read about in the Wall Street Journal, all that stuff's coming across your desk at some point. So, so there's always this question when you go to a company, what is it going to be like? It's not all, you get a lot more traction or the sexy questions, but the truth is, Shell is so big that you get all the same stuff. The good stuff winds up on my desk too. It's all very interesting. And she's agreed. She's said, yes, you're right. I've never been bored. And for me, that is one of the best things about my career is it's not never been boring. Because I don't know about others, but when I get routine and it becomes more, I lose my focus and I'm just not as effective or as good. And so
I've
getting new questions and diving in and trying to understand the problem is fun. And a lot of times, sometimes I have to, I know how to fix the US problem, but I have to now, that fix doesn't work because it violates the UK law. So now we have to figure out, well, how do I get these two on board? Um, and most of the time we can do it. It's not a problem, but you don't want to comply with one law and violate another one. So, yeah,
Well, at least we have someone like you involved. Coming from Namibia, you very well know that Shell and Total have found huge oil deposits off the coast of Namibia. And this is going to be a new generational shift for the country. I'm part of the investment board and the tourism board for Namibia in the president's office. So I'm sure our paths will cross in the next few years. Going to be amazing for the economy of Namibia. But as you say, from a legal standpoint, an international legal standpoint, we have to be prepared for what the country is going to be totally absorbed with in terms of international regulations, the possibilities of investment in the country. We'll take this offline, but I would be so happy to talk to you about that in the future.
sure. And they have this thing called the resource curse, where countries that found great resources have the people have actually been worse off. But I don't really believe that. I believe the issue is that the people managing and running the country weren't very good to begin with, and now you just gave them more stuff to take, right?
Well, here we have examples. So Angola is right on our border to the north of
Yeah,
Namibia. We have countries like Ghana and Nigeria who have struggled a lot with that transition,
right.
making sure that the people actually benefit from it. So, and Guyana is one of the newest countries that I know about.
Yeah.
is very similar to Namibia in that progression at the moment. So there's a lot to be learned. And someone like you in the legal profession as oil is going to mean everything to the future of Namibia.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is the future of Namibia is there regardless of whether there's oil there or not. And the key is make sure you have good people in leadership positions. And good means both smart and their heart is they know where they came from.
Yeah.
And if you have those two things, I'm confident there won't be a resource course and the people will benefit greatly from it. Yeah, I could speak to oil and fines and everything, but oil's not popular these days, but it is, we need it. We're going to need it for decades and decades.
Yeah.
And, I tell people, all right, well, let me ask you, if you went in the hospital and they put you on a respirator, which would you prefer to be one run by natural gas or one run by solar? So a cloud goes off, your respirator goes off at night. There's ways to adjust things, but nothing has been more effective in providing consistent power, which anyone who lives in the United States knows you lose power, your world just spins out of control, right? Power in the utilities, we've come to expect that when I flip the light switch, the lights come on. When I turn the TV on, the TV comes on. Well, when that becomes questionable,
Mhm.
all of your entire economy starts breaking down. And
Yeah,
so,
that's one of the biggest challenges that Namibia has. So we've been voted as one of the greatest green hydrogen new enterprises in the world, Chile, because of our solar and wind power energy. So
yeah,
we have that to develop. But alongside it, we have the oil findings. So
yeah.
the country's taken a wonderful stance, and we got this year is going to be our first female president is going to be inaugurated in,
Oh,
and she is a huge supporter of combining the opportunities that Namibia have, whether it's green energy or findings of oil, to be able to benefit the economy of the country. So
yes.
now, I'm incredibly excited for the future of Namibia. It's the safest country in Africa, has the best infrastructure, and our political economics, situation is
Yeah.
very, very sound. So let's hope that someone like you can be sure to be a council leaders coming up. But
Well,
we are so excited for that because the world is all about that, and energy is so important. Americans maybe take it for granted that they open a tap and there's running water, there's
yeah,
lights. Where you come from, a country like mine in Africa, Namibia, that is not always a, a given.
right,
And people walk 8, 9 miles a day to go and get water, and they don't
right.
have electricity. So people in America, and I'm sure you say this all the time, is they are very fortunate that they have this kind of infrastructure.
And we have to, I mean, there's a lot of work America has to do. Was one of the reason I was running to make sure that that infrastructure in that way of life is there for my grandchildren and children. Because nothing, I remember when Ronald Reagan was president and he said, freedom's only one generation away, right? So you could lose freedom in the generation.
Yeah.
And I tell you the truth, I didn't believe him until living now and seeing things that I never thought I would see happen routinely with no ability to influence. So I, it's not, yes, we are one of the great countries of the world and we have so much benefit here for citizens that are here, but we also like we may be at different stages, but it's just as important for us to stay here and focus on our stuff in the United States as it is for Namibia. But I think, I do think these fines will help with wealth. I think one of the things I can tell you about oil is that it depletes very quickly. And having worked at Shell, everyone wants to say the fines are huge. They're never quite as huge as they say they are, but
Well,
I
that's
hope this one is.
billions and billions of barrels we're looking at.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe not.
Well, you'll get at least a billion, but the billions and billions and billions, that's big. So, but God willing, it will make a huge difference in the average person, family in Libya's future and allow them opportunities that their children will have that they didn't have.
Well, we thank you for being on the international platform, making that we find the right opportunities for not only your company, Shell, but obviously all
Yes.
countries that are involved. But on a lighter note, come on,
Uh-huh.
let's talk about your family. You mentioned your daughter. What do you do for fun? Do you have any time for fun?
I do have time for fun. I try to get out golfing once a week at least. So,
What's your scratch?
unfortunately, I'm not very good. My handicap is 23.
Okay.
So not very good, but I'm working on it. So, but and I spend time with my daughter.
Florida has some of the best golf courses in the
Oh
world.
yes, it does, but unfortunately, I'm not a member at some of them. But I'm still playing um, the county course, which is very nice here too. And I'm right near the beach, so that's very nice. And my daughter is now attending law school in Orlando, so I'm we see her a lot now. Before she was in Washington D.C., now she's in Orlando, and it's been great. And I'll get a call from her. Did you read this case? Da, 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 da. And it's nice to we have more now in common and more things to talk about, which makes it nice. And so she sees it. And then when I win an award, I was like, look at what I won.
It's
Because
going to
I
be
tell her
all those
she'll
awards.
have to go, she will go further than I do. So it's nice to see she does things that I do, and I try to explain to her. She does things that at my time at her age or that she does better. She's a much better writer than I am, for example. So when I was running for office, I would send her when she had time, say, tell me what you think of this. And she'd mark it up and she'd send it back to me. And before some of the debates, she says, Dad, you can't say that. I said, Yes, I can. Watch me. So,
That's
yeah,
very,
she comes from a different generation, but it's fun.
yeah.
Um, so I have fun that way. And then my wife keeps me on my toes. So
Oh,
we all joke, we're all type A personality, bossy people. So
oh, wonderful. My husband and I as well. We're like type A, just always like, you know, well, we've
yeah,
got CEOs as well. So that's a little bit, we always want
yeah,
the stage. But so how long have you been married for?
20 years.
Oh, wonderful. Congratulations. That's
Yes.
lovely.
Now,
To my golf day in Namibia. I have it every year, end of the year. Uh,
ah,
where it's a beautiful golf course in the desert in Namibia. It's got little springbuck that run around. And yeah, we raise money for education in Namibia and various other projects. So I'll definitely invite you as a golfer.
thank you. But yeah, it has been, I mean, I love Florida. I love living here. It's warm. Um, but yeah, so life is just busy, busy, busy. Sometimes it's work, sometimes it's this other project, but there's always something going on, and so I've been very blessed, and that's the truth, and that has as much to do with my success, in my career as anything. I met good people. I had a supportive family, and when I think about it. Um, I got married 20 years ago. We were married 1 year, and I took my wife and daughter over to over to the Netherlands, which worked out well. Um, it helped my career and everything else, but it was their support to do that, you know. And so it's it's been it's funny when you ask me things that I was proud of, I was like, well, when I was to university, if you told me that I would be doing policy work or in the government, I would have said, yeah, that would be a good career. That's what I'd want to do. And I did that. I had that. And now I'm always looking for more now, right? And so I hope to run for office. I didn't think I would, but I did. Now I hope to win one day. But for now it's been good. So yeah.
That's wonderful. Joseph, it's been lovely chatting to you. How does anybody get hold of you to just get more advice from you?
Um, well, I'm on LinkedIn, so that's easy to get hold of me that way. Um, and I think
A website or
it's actually my website's down now since I lost the campaign. I don't really have. No, I think that's the best way is just go through LinkedIn.
okay, great.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Joseph, and blessings to you and your family for 2025. It's going to be a phenomenal year.
Thank you. You too. I hope so. You never know, but we'll see. Whatever he has planned has always been well for me, so I'm looking forward to it.
And hope to see you at the next soiree or at the gala event, end of the year.
Yes. Yes. I'm hoping to make one of these.
Yes, baby.
Yeah. Vegas, right? Is the next one? The next gala is Vegas. One of.
Yes, yes. And I will look you up for a cup of coffee down here in Fort Lauderdale.
Yes, you're in love for, please do. And I can email you my phone number.
That sounds fantastic.
Okay.
Forward to chatting soon.
Yes. Thank you.
Blessings.
Bye.
See you soon.